CNN cast it as a big scoop, reporting more than 20 times that the Trump administration had left the Biden team no plan for nationally distributing the COVID vaccine, but then Anthony Fauci knocked it down.
There simply was no vaccination distribution plan under former President Donald Trump. One source telling CNN, as you said, there is nothing for us to rework. We are going to have to build everything from scratch.
Is the Biden administration starting from scratch with the vaccine distribution effort, or are you picking up where the Trump administration left off?
No, I mean, we certainly are not starting from scratch because there is activity going on in the distribution.
Joining us now to analyze the coverage in New York, Kat Timpf of The Greg Gutfeld Show and Fox Nation, and Mara Liasson, NPR's national political reporter and a Fox News contributor. Kat, CNN repeatedly made that claim based on sources about starting from scratch. MSNBC reported it as well. In light of Anthony Fauci's comments, how big a mistake is that?
It is a very big mistake because people who do not trust media look toward these sort of things as evidence of that, right? And when this happens, it makes it easier for those people to say, oh, all of CNN is fake news, all of MSNBC is fake news. And so when they do have these legitimate criticisms or bring up legitimate issues, which obviously do exist, people are going to be less likely to listen to that.
Mara, Fauci also said at the briefing room in interviews that he felt liberated. He talked about frustrations under President Trump, comments about hydroxychloroquine. He told Rachel Maddow that science was distorted or rejected. The media loved Dr. Fauci, but though some of these comments make him look like a partisan.
Well, they gotta love him for everything he says. If he says that they're not starting from scratch, he's speaking the truth as he knows it. And if he says that he feels liberated, that's also true. I mean, the thing about, I just want to go back to this starting from scratch. I think that that was emphasized out of context, because how can you be starting from scratch if people are getting vaccines every single day? Now, this morning, Ron Klain, the chief of staff, did clarify this, and he said, well, there was a plan to distribute it in the first wave, but now there was no plan to distribute it going forward. So, but yeah, like, I think there's a risk that he sounds partisan, but Dr. Fauci's brand and his credibility is based on calling it as he sees it, good or bad, Democrat or Republican president. And if he continues to do that, I think that he'll be seen as credible and not partisan.
All right. Now, as we noted earlier, Jen Psaki made her debut, bringing back the regular briefings as White House press secretary. Here's some of what she said and one of the questions she got.
I have deep respect for the role of a free and independent press in our democracy and for the role all of you play.
So has he ever been at all wistful about sort of missing the fun parts of being a candidate and the inauguration?
Not in front of me, George.
That was George Condon of National Journal. Kat, Jen Psaki is very smooth behind the podium. She's good at deflecting questions. Will her declaration of support for a free press mean that free press will give her an easier time?
Well, look, I think that she has had an easier time. There was also multiple press briefings. The color scheme of Air Force One was brought up. Look, I think that she obviously is having an easier time because people are comparing it to what things were like under Trump. Still, I saw a lot in the media, Huffington Post, people are saying, wow, this was so normal. Let's compare this to, people are comparing this to Sean Spicer. I would like us to get to a point where we say, okay, new administration, let's judge it on its own merit. But right now, I think we're seeing a lot of comparison to the past.
And Mara, Jen Psaki's been asked some substantive questions, some dumb questions, some very softball questions. And with the exception of the New York Times' Mike Shear, who pressed her on how President Biden doesn't really seem to be giving anything substantive to the Republicans, I didn't see many challenging questions. And is that a problem for the press, especially coming out of the very contentious Trump era?
I think if it continues, yes. But they've only been in office for, what, a week? I think those questions are going to come because he's got a big challenge now. You know, he's got a Republican Party who has half of the Senate who doesn't really like his COVID relief package, and he's going to have to get it through. And he ran as somebody who could talk to Republicans, and so the questions are going to come up. Have you talked to them? What kind of compromises are you willing to make? I think that's going to happen. There's no doubt that they're getting a little bit of a honeymoon. And I don't know how long it'll last, But yes, I think the hard questions will come.
Well, we'll see how long the honeymoon lasts. The second question at the first briefing was from NBC's Peter Alexander, who said, is Joe Biden going to call Donald Trump? So we're having trouble breaking our Trump addiction, which, of course, helped everybody in the ratings and the clicks and all of that. Let me